Angie on my clarinet.
Oh, good. Very good.
At first there didn't seem to be any problems, and she did the normal things like running and jumping, and we first started noticing problems when Rhiannon was 5.5 years old. I was very keen for Rhiannon to do dancing, and she did do dancing for quite a number of terms. Probably the third term that she was doing her dancing, we started to notice that she was unable to do certain things that other children were able to do, and it was a little bit of a puzzle as to why she couldn't actually do those movements, and she started complaining of pain.
Well, I was probably 5 when I first felt the pain, and it was only a little bit sore, and the doctors didn't really notice.
She started to have a limp, and it was quite a pronounced limp in one leg. I took her to the GP on a number of occasions, and it was difficult because the GP would say to me, look, I can't see anything wrong with the knee. I can't see any redness or swelling. I can't see any visible problems with it. There was no injury. And then all of a sudden it got so bad that she couldn't walk anymore. She couldn't walk 5 metres, and we had to carry her.
Once when we were going to Crystal Mountain, I couldn't walk anywhere because of my joints. They were really hurting.
We got referred on to a rheumatologist. She couldn't see us for another month. By that stage we were so concerned with Rhiannon's limited ability to move that I went back to my GP and said, look, we can't see a rheumatologist for a month, and we're so concerned about Rhiannon. She's just not coping very well at all. She's having difficulty walking or doing anything. And she said, look, I'll ring up the hospital and we can see what we can do. And then a week later, she got us an appointment at Starship in the rheumatology department, and we saw someone there, and she was diagnosed then when we took her with juvenile idiopathic arthritis.
On this one sewing gym, it's a Michael Jackson one.
Yeah.
On one of the parts of it, it makes one part of my body hurt, but I've forgotten what part it was.
Okay. So when you get home, is it still sore, or only while you're doing it?
Only while I'm doing jumping.
Okay.
It was still hard to hear the diagnosis, even though I had come to the conclusion that it was probably arthritis, and even, you know, seeing the orthopaedic surgeon, he did the test for arthritis, and the way she moved, she did look like an old person, and she had problems with her joints, and it was looking so much like arthritis, and we knew there was something dreadfully wrong. It's a big shock to think that your little child is going to have the same problems that an elderly person is going to have. You don't expect a child to have to go through that type of pain and limited range of movement. When they gave the initial diagnosis, they said, look, we know this is upsetting, but you've got to take comfort in the fact that this is probably the worst you will ever see your child, and we can do lots to improve the arthritis, and she can go into remission and she can be free from any symptoms for a number of years. And I was perhaps a bit sceptical about the type of medication she would receive and how well it would work in helping her with her arthritis, and I was pleasantly surprised that there was so much that people could do, and there were dramatic improvements in the way she moved. We got a big sense of hope from Rhiannon and the way she responded to the medications. Her positive attitude, the following day after having steroid treatment, she was excited by the fact that she could move in bed, she could move her legs up and down.
Well, what I noticed was different is that my joints weren't hurting when I bended them, and I sat down on the floor and did all that stuff, and Mum was really, really pleased. That's when I was like, Mum, I'm feeling better now.
When it comes to side effects with the medication, yes, there are side effects. She gets nausea, And so we have done a number of things to try and make that nausea less for Rhiannon, and she does get very tired as well, taking the medication that she has to take. She takes it once a week. We try to take it before the weekend, so she has 2 days where she can have a sleep or go to bed early, or we can take it easy. When Rhiannon started taking the medication, she said to me regarding her arthritis, "Look, Mummy, I think my arthritis is nearly gone." So she'd have a few sort of aches and pains or problems, but she said, "This medicine has made my arthritis go away and I'm so much better." I've been reluctant to have Rhiannon return to dancing. I've sort of tried to encourage her interests in other areas, rather that she did something where she can continue on and her arthritis is not going to interfere with the enjoyment of her particular hobby. I also thought that learning an instrument was an amazing thing to do, and she's now learning the clarinet.
It was quite fun because I haven't done an instrument with my mouth before.
So don't drop your chin, all right? You want to be looking at your music, okay?
But I have done the keyboard, and the clarinet sort of sometimes has the same notes as the keyboard, so it's getting easier.
After she started experiencing pain, that confidence in her abilities, her physical abilities, was really damaged, and Rhiannon is now a little reluctant to take on new challenges physically. She's a very cautious child physically. She's had to be to sort of protect herself from her arthritis. Swimming for arthritis is the best type of exercise.
Once I swam 200 metres in my swimming lesson pool. I really like it because I like going underwater for some reason. And the person who teaches me is called Sandra Bluen. She swam in the middle of Cook Strait.
Yeah, Rhiannon's been swimming with me for a couple of years, off and on. And a little while back she started to have a lot of difficulty with her limbs and her joints. The more we were doing the swimming, the easier it was becoming. Warm water is really, really good for people with arthritis. And swimming is especially very good because it helps the joints and the limbs. So the more she can do the swimming, the stronger she's going to get. And it just mobilises those joints that are affected by the arthritis.
I could see that if she does experience success with swimming, that may flow on to other physical activities. She gets, oh, well, I can do that, and I'm really good at that. And if I compare myself to other children, I'm just as able, or maybe even more able than children who haven't had the swimming lessons that I have. I can actually do something, and I'm really good at doing this, so maybe I can try out something else. Rhiannon's life is pretty full. She does a lot of things. She's a happy child. There are things that you have to get used to. There are setbacks. You do get upset sometimes that she has to go, or your child has to be in such pain and has to have things happen to them that they don't like, say for example blood tests and joint injections, which are pretty traumatic. But in the end, these things all help them, and they can live wonderful, full lives.
If you were wanting to send a message to other children who might have arthritis, and if they were worried and scared about getting the treatment, what would you say to them?
I would probably say, if they were getting a blood test or something like that, I would say just think of something good and don't think about, don't get all nervous, otherwise you might make yourself feel sick. So I'll just say, think about something really nice that you like, so you don't mind having a blood test.
Could you bounce on the trampoline before?
No, I wasn't really allowed on it either. It's really good and I don't really feel any pain. Well, when I did have pain, I was really sad that I couldn't go on the trampoline because it's really, really fun.
Something I'd like to say to people who are worried about their children and the way that their children move is keep on asking questions and keep on going to your doctor and try and get it sorted out. But if it's a regular thing and they seem to be having trouble moving and they can't do things that you'd expect them to be able to do, and they can't sit on the mat properly, and they can't sort of bend their knees, and they suffer from a limp, and it's ongoing. They're not making it up. There's a problem there, and you just have to keep persevering. And in the end, with that perseverance, hopefully you'll get a diagnosis. Once it is diagnosed, there's so much you can do for this disorder. It's not the end of the world. Rhiannon's life is pretty full. She does a lot of things. She's a happy child.